Hi Capricorn, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before. Welcome to those of you who are new. My name is Jackie. So I'm going to be doing the general messages for the first week of August. I'm not going to be addressing specifically relationship like I normally do because I just did an extended love read for singles, coupled, and complicated a few days ago. So if you want to check that out, I did it for the month of August. It's a really long video, timestamp, so check out whichever would apply to your situation. But for this one, it's going to be a little shorter. And let's get into things. Let's just throw a bunch of cards down on the table and then see what we get. And then we'll pull some cards for advice and we'll see what we get. So this first week of August, I feel like it's kind of like a layover of sort of how July was ending, getting ready for a switch over in mid-August. But anyway, we have Venus and Mars and Virgo in your 9th house. So that's sextiling your 7th house and your 11th house. 7th house has to do with, and sextile means a nice transit, let's just, without getting too complicated. It has to do with relationships, marriage, contracts, business partners, your general interpersonal style within any of these situations as well. And then the 11th house has to do with not only the groups that you associate within your friends, but also your hopes and wishes for the future. So these two things are very much on your mind, but in a way where you need to problem solve. Because Mars and Venus together in Virgo, Virgo's the energy of problem solving. Mars is the warrior energy. You know, come on, let's look at things. Fresh path, new perspective. And Venus is like, let's find balance here. And what is that 9th house? It has to do with your ethics, your personal philosophy, your morality, what really matters to you, okay? Just in general, okay? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, it also rules marketing, advertising, negotiating, your in-laws, foreign land, foreign travel, higher education. So it's a lot, right? Now, when Venus and Mars are hanging out together, they balance each other out. They balance each other because Mars pulls Venus into thoughts that maybe she wouldn't think, like maybe she would think that they were a little too uncomfortable, or there's no way that could work kind of energy on her own. Mars is like, no, come on, let's look at it this way. Whereas Venus has a softening effect on Mars, which is why they make such a cool couple. Right? They do. But we're going to talk about and see if we have to mention the shadow manifestation of this, okay? Because there's always going to be a shadow manifestation for someone out there, especially when we're doing general readings. And on that point, guys, general messages, take what resonates, throw out the rest. This is not a personal reading. I don't know your chart. I don't know what else is hanging in your chart or what's aspecting what. So this is for the general archetype of Capricorn. Starting out, we have the Judgment energy. So what I like about this is there's assessment going on here. This is Pluto. There's a lot of change, right? There's out with the old, in with the new, at least emotionally on a particular point. And of course it's going on with you because you have Pluto hanging in your 1st house right now of your identity and your attitude and your approach to life. So your whole approach to life is in the process over this time period of changing. It's not like an overnight thing, and it's not only hitting this week. It's been happening, and it's going to continue happening for another, I want to say, couple of years, right? There's this, and not in a bad way, God, this is good. This is like kind of leveling yourself up. But what I like about the Judgment energy, you see in this particular deck, right, you see the element of release coming up from her, right? So this is releasing, this letting go of the past, this making a decision about the past, this spiritually waking up. So for those of you connecting with this as a relationship, this is you assessing and shifting that relationship energy into a new phase. So for some of you, there might be a need to reconcile with somebody. For others of you, there might be a need to reconcile a situation that's gone on within the relationship. Reconcile it to a point of acceptance. It depends on where you're at. And as far as the reconciliation, only if you think the relationship is worthwhile. If it's not worthwhile, don't even bother with it, right? If this is to do with career or money, this is awesome because this is acknowledgement for your success coming in. So it's work that you've done in the past. Remember, it's Pluto, past, right? That ends up bringing you success now. So finance is getting better. Some of you might even be making a decision about a property, or you might even be finding yourself drawn to an old property, or at least a place that holds happy memories for you. So some of you might be dealing with like an element of nostalgia. The 9th house is also our religion, our belief system. and it sits opposite the 3rd house. So I just feel a very sort of nostalgic vibe for a lot of Capricorns, having to do with family as well right now. Some of you are going to be resonating with it like that. But clarifying that, we have the Star. So I feel like this is like just what the doctor ordered, this Judgment energy, because the Star is indicative of healing, right? This is in astrology, it's the Aquarius energy, and in numerology, this is the Strength card. And the Strength card is about needing to find balance. Healing, but needing to find balance, especially if you feel like you've been tested. So some of you may be feeling like you were tested, having to do with some sort of a business agreement, tested having to do with some sort of relationship or family situation. But the Star is healing after a difficult time. This is nice. Those of you with career or money, this is a money luck energy. So work you do begins to pay off. It's like because you've considered your long-term goals and you've prioritized well. So some of you might even be pushed in a new direction, like, I want to start my own business now, or realizing that you have some sort of talent that or affinity towards something that you didn't realize before, to the degree that you might be realizing it now, right? Where you could put it to good use and it can end up really impacting you in a very positive way. Also, the Judgment being clarified by the Star. Some of you, because Pluto is about digging up the past and sort of like redoing the past. That's why we say like Scorpios, right? Which is Pluto rules Scorpio, right? And Judgment is a Pluto energy. I always say Scorpios are, the detectives of the zodiac, but they're also very good at restoring things, like restoration projects, something that maybe is like grown very old or worn out. They're very good at that. And then with the Star energy, it is that as well, right? It's this sort of healing, bringing something back from the past, right? Updating something into the future. So some of you may be in that energy. But look at this. Yeah, we have the 6 of Cups. So this is definitely hitting me. For some of you, feeling very nostalgic. And some of you may be dealing with old people from the past, old friends, family members you haven't seen in a while, reconnecting with people from the past. But it's all about balance for you. It's like assessment and balance. And that's going to be very, very important to you. But I do want to say on the point where I mentioned how Venus and Mars in Virgo, this is pushing you to do a lot of problem-solving energy, either in your relationships, your marriage, your business partnerships, contracts, anything like that for some of you, as well as your groups, your friends, your hopes and wishes for the future, right? So all of that's great, but what does it mean to problem solve? We have to understand that there is this tension, there's this inconjunct going on with your 4th house of home, roots, family, your self-care, your emotions, how grounded, rooted, safe, and secure you feel. Some of you might be dealing with some sort of issue that's gone on with your mother. Maybe she's sick, maybe she's passed on. Dealing with some sort of issue surrounding that energy. But that's going to be sort of like part of what you need to solve, if that makes sense to you. At the same time, some of you are going to be dealing with that energy when it comes to 2nd house matters, when it comes to money or work or income or material possessions or your job, your work ethic, something like that. So there can be some tensions there. Problem-solving energy, but we don't solve problems that we don't have. So it seems like that's where the issues are hanging out. But it looks like it's going to go well. So Ace of Swords, those of you who are resonating with this is relationships. This is getting over past obstacles and getting what you want. So nice energy here. Definitely an auspicious energy all the way around for new beginnings, decisions, clear thinking, right? Because swords are air. It's mental. It's thoughts. It's truth. So this is clear thinking in work, in love, any area of life, but an immediate change to your circumstances for the better. You're going to be very mentally agile, and hopefully you're going to be exercising assertiveness and not aggressiveness, right? You want to be careful not to be too zealous about anything, because that's not going to serve you right now in this energy. But lots of change, right? Lots of change. And again, we want to be very ginger with how we handle this Venus and Mars energy hanging out together. Venus on the 16th is going to be popping into Libra, but it's going to be sitting with Mars for a good couple of more weeks, right? It's been there for a little over a week, but so we have this very short time period to do some really beautiful problem solving. And so while Venus can really allow us to appreciate, value, and focus on what it is that we love and focus on what we need to feel loved, all of that's great, right? Fabulous, right? We're all going to be very open to pleasing and all of this stuff. Very, generally speaking, a very fair-minded energy, right? But let's not forget Mars is in there, right? So as great as that all sounds, there are other less pleasant Venusian qualities that can rear their head that we need to be mindful of when a situation might pull us into a shadow manifestation if we're working through something that's maybe pulling us off our mark a little bit. So there are 3 things you really want to watch out for. Right, first of all, she has a hard time dealing with people who don't measure up to her ideal. Her expectations for perfection and harmony are really high. So we have to understand this house that she's placed in for you, again, which is the 9th house. And in that space, you can suffer some disappointments or disillusionment when you feel like life has, or she feels, I guess I should say Venus feels, that life has failed to meet her ideal. So maybe that negotiation isn't going as smoothly as you would like, or there's some sort of issue going on with the in-laws, or there's some sort of issue going on with travel, or some sort of legal situation as well, right? Because the 9th house is the higher court, so it could be that. Now, it's that very dissatisfaction that can motivate your Venusian energy, impelling you to do something which will ultimately make your life a lot more fair, balanced, and beautiful in that part of your life, right? So that's where you're going to be like, hey, this isn't really working for me. I have to balance this out. I have to problem solve, right? So just understand, like, Venus is very, very sensitive to those kinds of types of failed expectations, right? Also, Venus does not like competition, right? So in this 9th house, she can definitely feel kind of rivalrous or envious of people who might be better situated, who may be honestly, just because this could have to do with really anything, because it has to do with your moral code, your moral compass. It could have to do with envy issues, either coming towards you or towards somebody else, having to do with in-laws, right? Anything having to do with any sort of business negotiation, right? It's in the house of negotiation, marketing, advertising. She doesn't like competition there. She doesn't, right? So this is something where we're looking at money, we're looking at, it could even be love, it could be any sort of business situation, anything like that, where you can easily feel compelled and get sucked into using seduction, using deceit, using any of the strategy, even manipulation, to secure something that your eye is aimed at possessing. And honestly, Capricorn, because it's in the 9th house, which is a Sagittarius energy, the shadow manifestation of a Sagittarius energy is manipulation. And not, I don't even want to say with complete malice, but it's they will really work very hard at manipulating a situation to pull people into their way of thinking, right? And unfortunately, they usually get found out about it, right? But so you just want to be careful, right, having to do with that, because Venus, when running in her shadow self, she can make a true mess of people's lives, right? So just another thing to watch out for. Also, finally, Venus can definitely serve, and I'm going on about this because it can be heavy energy for you. Venus can also serve to be tempering for imbalance, which is great, right? But this can, to a certain extent, be kind of painful for you, particularly in this house where we're negotiating things, right? So it's in this mode, she can believe a certain amount of suffering, strife, and challenge is needed to bring us to better harmony or balance if we've swung too far in a direction that's not for our ultimate good, having to do with that business situation, putting the cart before the horse, maybe having to do with that in-law situation, travel, something to do with the law, anything like that, right? Anything like that. And this is where we can see why she's so perfect to be with Mars, right? Perfect energy for Mars. But there is this energy, there's some sort of mention about property, family, inheritance for some of you. For others of you, it's a very I have your back, you have mine. So if you've been struggling financially, things coming to you, things getting better for you, maybe somebody from your past offering you support right now, or you offering it to them. And now that could have to do with money, or that could have to do with just general support. Let me help you out. Okay, hey, let me help you out. But clarifying that is the 5 of Pentacles. right? So this could be because you feel very tested in your resource area. And some of you may be feeling like that because you do have Saturn and you have Jupiter also, but Saturn and Jupiter retrograde in Aquarius in that second house of money and material possessions and things going on at work right now. So for some of you, and also your value system. So some of you may be feeling that. But the thing is with the Five of Pentacles, it's very psychological energy, right? You have a lot more support. You have a lot more than you really realize right now, but it's a fear. It's a very fear-based energy. So you fear losing the security of something. You fear some sort of loss of something. Some of you may not be resonating with it like that at all, and you just may be dealing with like some painful energy in the aftermath of a breakup, or even the death of somebody close to you may have passed, and you're dealing with that. Yeah, I mean, this nostalgic energy, this feeling. So some of you, I mean, obviously, it's not going to resonate with all of you, but yeah, so there can be also some discussion about how that would be playing out, but clarifying this feeling of testing, feeling of lack of connection, lack of security, right? That kind of thing is the Hangman energy, which is Neptune, which means you're having a really, first of all, hard time seeing something fully clearly. So hopefully you're pressing the pause button instead of like rushing forward in something, because the Hangman energy is Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces. And so this is the energy of, while Pisces is a very soft energy that Neptune rules, it's an energy of victimhood, and it's an energy of feeling like we're martyring ourselves. So I know that sounds very negative, but it's the kind of thing where, why is the Hangman hanging upside down, not doing anything? Because he's trying to figure out, if he continues in something, is he going to end up sacrificing what he really wants, needs, and desires? And he's trying to gain some wisdom from that. Thinking as clearly as one can think, or see as clearly as one can see when they're in the middle of a fog. Not easy. You can kind of see the stuff, but you can't really, right? So clarifying that then is the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, coming back to the Sun and Capricorn energy, security. Security is a thing for you right now. There's no question. And a lot of you are, and security, what does that even mean? How secure is this job? How secure is this position? Do I have enough money? Some of you might have plenty of money. You're not worried about that, but how secure is your relationship? How secure are your friendships? Security, just in general. And the thing is, what I like about this for you, though, in this area of security, we have Chiron retrograde in Aries. It's going to be there until December 28th in that fourth house. So when Chiron, first of all, I love Chiron retrograde, love, because Chiron retrograde makes us look at the past, makes us look at our stuff from the past, makes us look at people that we've allowed to hurt us, maybe people we've hurt as well, and just really looking at the reality of a situation, not to swim in the pain of it, but to heal it. So between now and the end of December, there's going to be a lot of healing having to do with your area of home, roots, family, how you take care of yourself, your emotions, your foundation, anything surrounding the idea of mother, whether how you mother or issues with your own mother. So while this might be the active energy right now, I see this as being like a necessary sort of building block in getting to a better space in your life. Beautiful. Speaking of building blocks, right? We have the Three of Pentacles. This is energy of collaboration, Mars and Capricorn. So really nice energy here for sure. This is doing rewarding work, allowing your talents to really come out and speak for themselves and shine. This could indicate a successful launch for some of you. Some of you, you're looking to sell your home, awesome. You're looking to do some work on your home, awesome. Buy a home, awesome as well. Just be careful of the people that you're surrounding yourself with right now, because anything good that's going to be going on, and meanwhile, it'll be very annoying for you because you're going to be very mindful of the fact that no one's life is perfect, but there may be one area in your life where things are going pretty good for you. And if you're surrounding yourself, and I'm just saying this with this Venus and Mars energy and Virgo hanging out, be careful of people being jealous of you. I'm just going to say it like that. Detractors should only make you stronger. Just ignore them. Somebody's going to gossip about you, whatever. You can't control it. You know what I mean? Like, sit down, person. But we have the beautiful Six of Wands, so I'm loving this, right? Because this is about, let's just say, good things. Good things in any aspect of your life. Love, property, work, decision making, education, really good. So if you're resonating with this as a relationship, feelings are going to be shared, and it's going to go in a really good way for you, and it's going to ultimately end up in a deepening of connection, right? Having to do with whatever relationship. It could be a family, friend, intimate, whatever it is. This has more to do with like just work, and maybe you feel like you've been in a space of struggle in some area of your life. This is acknowledgement for things, for energy that you've been putting in to something. You know, it's a Jupiter and Leo energy. Fab. Expansion. Creative energy as well. Very nice. Some of you may be in the space of talking about also, because Jupiter, this is exactly where Venus and Mars are in Virgo, again, are in your 9th house, but your 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius, which rules Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of the 9th house. And in Leo, Leo has to do with children, creativity, what it is that you want to do because you like to do it, kind of thing. It's also falling in love, love affairs, romance. So a very nice energy for those of you looking to get into a new relationship. But we have the King of Swords here, right? So you're in the space of very much relying on your logic, and trying to stay outwardly calm will be your superpower right now, Capricorn. You sound logic. I hate to say it, but like, you know, go Victorian, you know what I mean? Like, go like, stay in the mental, and don't allow your heart to take charge of circumstances. I feel like you're gonna be in a space where you're gonna be able to do that a lot more comfortably. Clarifying that though is the 5 of Cups. So there's this definite sense of like, there's this transition energy, right? Because there's this energy of loss, of sadness, of leaving. This can be a relationship, this could be a friendship, this could be a work and or money situation ending before you feel really, really ready for it. But you're going to be able to deal with it and move on. You're going to be able to assimilate any stress that you've been dealing in, sadness, in order to make a new start. But it does look like you sort of moving in a very nice direction away from something that wasn't working. Even though you're going to be in an emotional stalemate, you know, you have to figure it out, right? The 2 of Swords, Moon and Libra, it's time to think, right? You're in an emotional stalemate. You need to make a decision. On the one hand, you want to protect yourself, of course, because we've been talking about that. But at the same time, this situation's not going away. So you have to resolve it. And it's Moon and Libra. Libra's an air energy, right? So talk about what it is that you're feeling, because the moon is our emotions, and just say it in order to temper the situation. So it looks like things are going to end up going well for you. Temperance is just cooperation, moderation, being able to reconcile something. So this, for those of you dealing with any kind of relationship, a new level of trust and patient cooperation can be had after a pretty challenging time period. If this is to do with like career or money, you might be dealing with challenging personalities at work, too aggressive, too sensitive, whatever it is. But exercising like patience and cooperation is going to go a long way, a long way. You just want to make sure you pay attention to your money right now. Incoming and outgoing, you know what I mean? And then we have the Chariot energy, beautiful, right? I mean, this is definitely some sort of transitional sort of something going on here, right? Because the Chariot numerology is the Tower, which is about a necessary surrender. And that necessary surrender is going to involve expediting some sort of situation for you away from toxicity. So if this has to do with careers, quick changes and progress in some sort of business situation that's going to push you forward, it's bringing something into fruition. And whatever it is, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very positive for you. It's going to bring positive energy to your finances. So I really do like that. There's nothing to be mad at here having to do with that. And especially because the North Node in Gemini is transiting your 6th house. 6th house is the house it has to do with our mental, physical, and emotional health, but it's also our work habits and our day-to-day experience, day-to-day work. So some sort of gift is going to be coming in, because the North Node always brings a little sweet present when she transits the 6th house. The release is going to be in you releasing something from the sacrificing something that you have put yourself in the space where you're thinking in too much of a limited way, your limited beliefs. There's got to be a release there. There's got to be a release in your subconscious, right? There's got to be like this release, because with the South Node in the 12th house is all about endings and healing and closure and what's hidden, and again, limited beliefs. So there's got to be some sort of sacrifice there, release. but it's going to end up shifting everything. Like the paradigm of everything is going in a much nicer direction. So I do like that. Let's just pull a few. Discover your life purpose. Go with the flow. Observer. Go with the flow and observer, kind of like two sides of the same thing. So discover your life purpose. Yeah, I mean, that's like a very Leo energy, very fifth house. Really figuring out you, what it is, what do you want? Bottom line energy. What is it that you want to bring to yourself? And bring it to yourself gradually, because there is this shift going on. And there's no need to rush through it. There's no need. But it does seem like, again, I just feel like the paradigm of something is shifting for you in a good way, in a good way. So that is what we have for you. I feel like this can be a little bit of, out of the month of August, this is going to be the only stressful, like really like stressful week, only because it's going to be a very proactive, energetically, a very proactive problem solving energy. Then things definitely lighten up, right, as the month goes along. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, Capricorn. I really appreciate it. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.